In this video, we are talking all the gear I use to make my birding YouTube videos. This is a realistic look of what I'll actually carry with me on one of these birding trips, and I wanted to make it extra real, so we came out to a legit birding location. There's a bunch of shorebirds out there, there's gulls flying over, we're here at the Great Salt Lake, so yeah, let's talk gear. If you're new, my name is Hawken, your virtual birding guide, and like the intro stated, we're going to talk gear today. Now, a couple quick disclaimers. Firstly, I am always a proponent that you don't need tons of gear to go birding. You just need to go outside. Of course, a handy pair of binoculars will be your friend, and it's the investment I would encourage people to make before anything else. But all of the gear I'm going to show you is totally optional. Now, I make these YouTube videos, so I'm gonna have a lot of extra camera gear, and I invested in some things like this scope here because I really do love birding, and I decided it was a worthy investment for stuff that will bring me a lot of enjoyment. That might be different for you, so you don't always have to follow exactly everything that I do. But some people have expressed interest in learning about everything that I use out on my adventures, so this is the video for you. Second disclaimer, this is my gear as of 2025. There are certain things I'm not quite happy with and will probably be swapping out. If you want to ever stay up to date on what gear I'm using, the link will usually be in the description of my videos to my website, where you can see all of the stuff and find links to all the products. We're going to start with my birding gear, so I'll put this backpack to the side right now. Of course, the thing that I always will point out first are binoculars. I personally use the Celestron Nature DX 8x42 binoculars. They've served me pretty well. I've done a full review on my channel that I'll link down below if you want to check that out. The only problem I have is the eye cups often break on me. It hasn't affected me too much. This one's quite loose already, but I can usually just hold it open while I'm using them. So yeah, those are my binoculars. This scope here is one of the more new additions to my kit. This is the Vortex Viper HD. Now, this is probably what I'd consider their mid-range. You have, I think, the Diamondback on the budget end, and then you have the Razor on the high end. I went for the mid-range, and I absolutely love this thing. Now, scopes are obviously very expensive, and it's something you want to invest in only if you're very serious about birding, but Vortex has a lifetime warranty, and so I think this will be the only scope I buy for life, most likely. So even though it was a lot of money up front, I think I'm going to be using this thing for many years to come. Now, this scope is 20 to 60 times magnification, whereas my binoculars are only 8. So there's a handful of use cases, such as something like gulling, where I'd want to be using this scope. Of course, you can see I have the angled variant too. I like looking down into my scope much more than having a straight view. It also means I don't need as tall of a tripod. And then it is the 85 diameter variant. Now, I think you can go a little bit wider than this, but that obviously means more weight. And I think there's one that's a little bit smaller, but then you get less light into the scope. So yeah, I like this one, pretty happy with it, would recommend. Now, a quick mention too, if you want a full review of any of the products I mentioned, because I'm quickly going over all my gear, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to try and make that video. And then this scope is on a Vortex tripod. Now, I could have used the tripod I already had for my camera, but if I'm ever lugging a scope around, I'm not really caring as much about the weight. So I got a tripod that is quicker to set up. It only has 2 latch points. Now, this is the Vortex High Country 2 tripod made out of aluminum, and it's pretty nice. Don't have too many complaints so far. I've only been using it for a short time, but it does the job of what I need it to. It came with a very nice head too, to be able to move the scope around and then lock it into place. So been very happy with that as well. And that pretty much does it for the birding specific gear. Now we'll talk about some of the other accessories and my camera gear. All right, of course, the most important piece of kit for making my YouTube videos is my camera, which I'm actually filming on right now. I'll show you in a second, but it is an APS-C camera, the Sony a6700. Now, I used to use the a6400 when I started on YouTube, but decided to upgrade for a couple of reasons. I wanted IBIS, and then I also wanted to be able to film 4K 60 and 4K 120. So this camera's been awesome. I might get a full frame camera at some point, just to have that extra quality in my photos, and maybe my videos would look just slightly better. But the camera really has been amazing, and I've loved it. And then the second most important piece of YouTube gear, actually maybe more important, a lot of people recommend you focus on the lens more than the camera. This is the Sony 200 to 600 millimeter telephoto lens. This thing is a beast. This is one of my more recent upgrades. I used to use the Tamron 150 to 500 when I started. I'm really thankful I upgraded though, because the quality I've been getting out of this lens is a good jump up from that Tamron lens, even though it served me well for a while. So I absolutely love this thing. This is what pretty much all of my birding shots are shot on. The covering on the lens itself, because for some reason somebody decided to make the lens white, which sticks out like a sore thumb, especially when you're out in the field. I decided to be like every other YouTuber out there that does wildlife photography and get a camo cover. This one's by a Roland Pro. And it attaches pretty well to the lens. I do like it a lot. So yeah, that is the lens. I have one more camera lens. It's the Tamron 17 to 70 millimeter lens. I don't use that as much for this birding channel. It is only for seldom cases like when I'm in my studio or filming on right now when I need a wider angle than this thing can obviously do. So yeah, that is all of my camera lenses. Now I'll talk about my cotton carrier, which I'm currently wearing right now. I really love this thing. My lens and camera can slide right into here, so I can always have my camera accessible when I'm out in the field. And I have the version that comes with the side holster too, which I've used a binocular adapter for. So now I don't have the thing around my neck that holds my binoculars. It is out of the way of my camera system, and I have both. If a bird decides to come out of the brush and I need to look really quickly, I can just pull my binoculars off, try and ID it. There's actually some gulls flying by right now. Looks like California gulls. And if I need my camera to get a quick picture, I will quick put that off like this. Now, their mounting system is pretty genius. It will not come off unless you turn it the exact right orientation, which is perfect when I'm hiking because I obviously don't want my camera falling. So I love this thing. Again, this is the Cotton Carrier G3 harness, and I got the version with the side holster. I actually bought the side holster separately after realizing I wanted it. You can buy each piece separate, and they work together very nicely. So huge fan of my Cotton Carrier. All right, and then my other tripod is the newer LT32 carbon fiber tripod. I think I got that name right. That one is a little bit different from this one because I was concerned more with packability. So I got one that collapses pretty small and it has a nice quick release feature. So if I ever have my camera on the tripod, I can just press a button and quickly pull it off if a bird is flying by. So yeah, this tripod's been pretty solid. It's maybe not something most people would consider putting a wildlife lens on because, I don't know, it doesn't always feel the sturdiest to me, but it works. It packs really light. It's carbon fiber. So I do really like it for those reasons, but I am considering switching the tripod out as well for something that has more latches and sets up quicker like this one. It is tough finding that balance between ease of use and setting up quickly and weight and packability when you want to bring it with you out in the field. So yeah, that's the tripod. I also keep these reusable rain covers with me, which you would have seen if you watched my recent Rio Grande adventures because it was a little bit rainy. So it's nice to have these along. I always keep one of them in my backpack. They pack super small, so it's always something to try and protect my gear that I like to have with me. And then I totally almost forgot to mention, almost all of my vlog footage is just shot on my phone. Whenever you see me talking to camera, this is what it looks like. I'm just holding my phone like this on the 0.5 times zoom, the wide angle lens. And yeah, I'm just talking directly to my phone. I'm pretty happy with what I get, and it's super easy. I just get to keep it in my pocket, and it gets a pretty usable result for YouTube, so I love that. This is the iPhone 15, so. And then lastly, I do have a tripod for my iPhone too, which I was hoping I would use more to get lots of vlog footage because it sets up really quickly. This is fine. It works. It's just not super stable. So any day it's windy, you run the risk of that happening. And so sometimes I'm a little hesitant to use it. I would love if there's maybe a better solution out there for this problem, but this works okay for being a pretty packable tripod that I can bring with me to get some behind the scenes shots. All right, let's talk microphones now. So when I'm out in the field, I put this shotgun microphone on my camera. This is the Rode Video Micro. This is one of the pieces of gear I'm looking to upgrade very soon. I actually am hoping to get the Rode Go 2, and I'm gonna test that out. This one's just a little outdated and haven't been totally pleased with the results. The windscreen is pretty nice though that it comes with. I'm a fan of that, and I'll probably keep that around and see if it fits on the new microphone. So yeah, that's my on-camera microphone. But the mic you're probably more used to seeing is the one I have right here and I'm currently using. This is the DJI wireless microphone. Now they actually have a new version out of this, but the first iteration of it has worked great for me. This thing's awesome. It can plug into iPhones, it can plug into my camera like I have it now. You can plug it right into a computer. I'm a big fan of this, and it allows me a lot more flexibility to not have to deal with wires. And I can get some pretty solid audio when I'm vlogging and out in the field birding. All right, now I'll talk my drone very quickly. Now this is not a piece of gear I always bring with me. I am a certified drone pilot, but drones are not always able to be used at these wildlife locations, and I'm also very wary of disturbing other people or wildlife. So in this case, I have my DJI Mini 3. I used to use the DJI Mini 2, but I got the 3 kind of recently to comply with the FAA regulations that your drones need to have remote ID. So this is my DJI Mini 3. I love how little it packs up. I can just throw it into my backpack and take it out with me on my adventures. And I decided to get the one with the screen instead of the one that you put your phone into. This is the DJI RC, I believe, because I find I will use my drone so much more if I can just pull it out, turn it on, turn the drone on, and I'm ready to go, instead of having to stop whatever I'm doing on my phone, put the phone into the controller, plug it in, deal with the cords and stuff. I like this a lot better. And then the case that I have in, honestly, it's just a pretty standard case off of Amazon. I'll put the name on the screen because I forget it, but I store my drone registration, my pilot information in there. I have an extra battery, and then of course my drone. But if I'm out in the field, I will likely just take my drone and put it into my backpack and not have this case with me. This is more just for storage and transportation in my car. So. Few other things, these are just accessories. I have a power bank just to help me charge up any of my gear. I keep charging cables in my bag as well. USB-C is really the main one that I need. This is actually a free power bank I got from my realtor. Honestly, any power bank will do you well. I don't think any specific brand is necessary. I know Anker makes great ones. I'm sure you can find other ones on Amazon too. And then I, of course, keep spare camera batteries, so I never run out of battery while I'm out in the field, because that would be really sad if I came across an amazing bird and wouldn't be able to film it. And then I always keep microfiber cloths to be able to clean my lenses with, and then this little pocket air blower. So if I'm ever needing to switch lenses, or there's dust on my lenses or in something, I will blow air from this thing to clean out the sensor, because you're not supposed to touch it. So just a couple of extra accessories. And that is pretty much rounding out the gear outside of this backpack. Now this is another piece of gear that I'm looking at upgrading at some point, because this is the Osprey Solden 22, which is actually a ski backpack. And I really am a fan of this thing, but I'm wanting a more dedicated hiking backpack. Now that has maybe some more breathability along the back, can accommodate my huge telephoto lens better than this one can. It's maybe not as tall as I would like a backpack to be, but for the time being, it does the job pretty well. It's comfortable and it works, and I could continue to get by with this, but I am looking to upgrade it. So that is pretty much all of my gear. If you have any questions, of course, leave them in the comments. I'd be happy to try and answer them. All the links can be found on my website, and I'll link some of the big pieces in the description below. But with that, that's my gear. I'm gonna go try and find some birds. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Happy birding.